Okay, so this is a good example of a search that wasn't perfect. Let me try project manager. Okay, perfect. So Adrian, I tweeted this a while ago, but still again, hubby is looking for a project manager job in multimedia. And anyone know of anything? This is actually, I went from a really bad example to an absolutely perfect example. This is exactly the type of conversation that you want to be listening to with, again, your big magic phone, basically. My project manager getting pregnant, she already has 2 kids, and I was giving her nutritional advice. I'll leave the last part out. Heading out to meet at Rob Toth, amazing project manager, a lot more for a bite and go over some biz. So again, okay, so that's interesting. Rob Toth, for example, he's somebody that if I'm recruiting project managers, I want to follow him and I want to see what's going on with him because he may be an opportunity. You can see here now his profile. Information marketer, online strategist, results producer, and a big fan of sunshine and patios. So Rob Toth, if I was doing searches on project managers, he's somebody who I want to go follow, and likely if I follow him, he's going to follow me back. So that's another example of how to go search on this. Now the key is you're not going to have their job titles within this because you can only search their conversations. Now I'm going to show you a tool a little bit later here to search their actual bios, but unlike LinkedIn and unlike Facebook, you can't go search on a job title. You can only search on conversation and keywords that they're having. So the way to go do this is you think about what your ideal candidate may or may not be tweeting about from a topic perspective, and that's where you want to spend your time. So I'm going to speed up my presentation here a little bit because I'm running a little bit behind. Employer branding and advertising. So I'm not going to give an example of this, but I think there's some examples that have been using. I think employment branding and advertising, for one, is if you got any company should be starting up a Twitter careers page basically right now. You should be tweeting about why is it good to work at your company, open jobs, recruiting events that are going on, and go out and actively follow people. If you're in the business of consistently hiring project managers, you want to make sure that Rob Toth is getting interesting project management information from you. Same thing again if you're a retailer, a major shoe retailer, for example, then you may want to think about people who really love, maybe talk about shoes all the time. Maybe they love it so much they want to come work for your company. A good example is Lululemon. If they're looking for people to work in their retail shops, they'd likely go look for people who are yoga fanatics and look for key people on Twitter who are yoga thought leaders, so to speak. People that are consistently blogging about yoga or microblogging about yoga. Likelihood they've got avid yoga fans that are following them. And again, that allows you then to kind of go brand yourself and go reach out to people that may not be searching for customer service rep on Monster, for example. What you're really looking for is an interest or a love for something. So how to become a better tweeter? A couple different things. The retweet, and I felt it necessary to put in a picture of Mr. T, so I hope there's some laughs there, because I always laugh whenever I look at Mr. T. So let me give you an example of what that means. So the retweet, some best practices. So I'm going to go back to my home page here, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by this. So I'm getting my feed, and I'm looking at interesting stuff here. So let's see here. ExxonMobil overtakes Walmart to top Fortune 500 company. So this is interesting stuff. So this is Jim Stroud. He's a leading expert in the recruiting field. So the best practice on retweeting, so I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to, what it does is it's a bit of a respect play here. So I'm going to go retweet, and I just forgot, and I'm going to go at Jim Stroud. So what I'm doing here is saying, listen, he gave me a great piece of information that I was able to get that I want to go share with my followers. So what it does is when you retweet, there's actually, it's a sign, it's a great way to pick up followers, it's a great way to build credibility, it's a great way to actually show that you're thanking somebody for doing that. So what's important to do here is when you retweet, put the RT. Okay, so that was my retweet. So that's one way. So you can see now, in a matter of just this morning, what have I done? So for my company, I've talked about a great article about Monster. I've driven potential candidates to my site about Mindfield Group, and I shared interesting information around the Fortune 500 thanks to Jim Stroud, and I gave him a kind of a shout-out basically here by putting the RT in. So this may seem extremely trivial to people, and I don't disagree when you're saying, okay, well, who cares what you're doing? From a marketing perspective, what I'm hoping to do here is kind of demonstrate the power of this. So I go back now, and the other couple ways that you can be a better tweeter, and I can see here, you can see I apologize, there's my one formatting error for the day. The sweet retweet, basically. So looking for good information or retweeting that by putting RT and making sure that the person that tweeted it, you put their information in. Nobody cares what you have for dinner. You will not gain followers necessarily unless it's like maybe your close relatives. If you're thinking as a recruiter or as a sourcing specialist, as a marketer, you want to tweet about things that are interesting to the types of people that you think are important to follow you. Reply a lot. So when somebody does a great tweet, I can say, great article, thanks very much, here's my thoughts on it. So the way to do that, I'm just going to show you this again really quickly. So I can see here, let's see here. Let's see. What I'm looking for is a tweet that is interesting to me that, again, it's information overload, right? So it's a quick scan, a quick look. But let's see here. Let's see, Ashton Kutcher. Okay. So, candidly, I haven't found anything that gets me really excited. Student Jobs Canada, part-time clinical teacher, School of Health, Humber, Mississauga. If I wanted to reply, I would just hit reply to this, and it would show up directly on their page, because I'm following Student Jobs Canada. It would show up on their page, and maybe I want to start interacting with them from a conversation, so that's the way to do this. And you can also star things as your favorite as well. Okay, so the last couple of things I want to talk to you here is reply a lot, find interesting stuff and post. So many of you have blog or RSS feeds or where you get your information from. Definitely post that stuff. People want to know and use that Adjix tool that I mentioned. And finally, how to be a good tweeter. It's okay to say nothing. Everyone's interested in their own facet, and I think that what you want to do is you want to think about your company and how your company can be interesting to actually go show these things out. So a couple Twitter tools I want to talk to you really quickly. Adjix, the one here that I talked about. Adjix was the one that allows you to shorten your links. It also allows you, if you sign up for it and log in, it actually allows you to time your tweets. So this is great if you've got a campaign for the week. You can actually make sure that you've got tweets or Twitter updates happening twice a day if you spend an hour and loaded it up, for example. Twallow is basically an application built off of Twitter for, it's basically the Yellow Pages. So I want to show this really quickly because I do think it's of value. What happened? Okay. I'll go to TwitterHawk here really quickly. And here's my TwitterHawk. So TwitterHawk, what I want to show you here, here's my TwitterHawk account. So what TwitterHawk does is it listens for you. So it automates the magic phone for you. So you can see here that I've put in some key things that I want to go listen to. I've got 3 active searches, 21 new matches, and I haven't sent any tweets. So let me explain how this works. And this is a brand new interface today, so bear with me here a little bit. So you can see I put in, I want to listen to conversations on the web. And what TwitterHawk does is it automates my magic phone listening, basically. And I'm listening for anything to do with recruiting. I'm also looking for anyone that's typing in looking for. So a lot of the time you can see when a company is looking for a specific position, they a lot of the time start with looking for, and you can see there's 9 matches of people looking to find maybe a controller like myself, or they're trying to find a software developer, they're trying to find a store manager. RPO obviously is our industry, so I'm looking for anybody that's talking about RPO. Now what's really unique about this is I can actually automate a response. So let's see here. So let's look at how we've got this. So you can see here I've created basically automatic responses. Now I'm moderating this, so these aren't automatically going out to these people. What I'm looking for here is people that are looking for maybe a specific position. So nothing really showed up here right away, but I probably have to narrow my search a little bit. But you can see here, looking for is basically if I see anyone that comes through, and I may have 15 updates in a day, and if I do have those updates that are applicable, they're looking for help on a search, I can send my automated response that I want to go create. Hey, we can help. Mindfield Group is 1/5 the cost using a traditional search firm, rethinkrecruiting.com, so again, driving traffic back to my site. So TwitterHawk, it does cost 5 cents per tweet, but if you've got really, really specific individuals that you look for in your company, this is an absolutely no-brainer investment to go and track conversations. So things like project managers, or if you're really technical, maybe looking for a semantic web developer or a Ruby's on Rails developer, or you're looking for a store manager who loves shoes, or you're looking for someone who loves home improvement, for example. Actually, that would be a great one. So people that are maybe working on or looking for ways to go, looking for examples or help on building a deck, for example. A home hardware type organization would likely maybe say, okay, maybe this is somebody who'd be interested in a part-time job on the weekends. So I kind of want to just touch on that. And then TwitterHawk, as I mentioned, Twallow, and I don't know why it's not coming up, but what Twallow is the yellow pages, so you can search on people's bios, so I certainly encourage you to have a look at that one. Now, I'm kind of running right at my time here, so I want to kind of finish things up and open up the questions, because I assume there'll be quite a few. The first one here that I want to go with are just quickly to stay up to date, so how Mindfield Group can help. So obviously, number one is I encourage you to sign up for our blog to stay up to date on all these types of things that are happening. Certainly, I would love for you to follow us on Twitter if what we talked about here today is of any interest to you. If you're looking for support, a couple ways that we really specifically help. We can support you on your individual recruiting efforts in a project or full RPO basis. You can contact us directly to see how we may be able to do that, and we can provide a good clean overview for you on what your basic needs are and how we may be able to help, either in salaried level hiring or if you're looking at maybe some unique strategies to tackle your nationwide retail recruitment strategy. That's our forte. And then the way to get in contact with us, the best way is go to our website, sign up for our Contact Us form, and we'll have a member of our sales and marketing team reach out to you to give you a bit of more of a description on what it is that we do and our pricing and so forth. So that was a ton of information, and I was really challenged on how to get this all into a 40-minute presentation. And really, step one here is I wanted to give everybody a good explanation on what Twitter was, and my hope is I gave you a bit of an insight on it. I didn't get Twitter for the longest time. I didn't understand why it was valuable. I didn't understand why a company or a marketer or a recruiter would find this applicable. And really now I understood, because you can essentially interact and listen to conversations 24 hours a day, which is substantial when it comes to recruiting, and it allows you to cut through the noise. It's also going to make a major impact on your employment brand piece. So what I was hoping to do is well, before I jump into the Q&A, and certainly if you have questions now, there's a panel there on the right-hand side that I encourage you to start asking your questions now, so we can start kind of fielding them. We've got about 15 minutes or so for questions. Definitely have a look at that diagram on our Twitter page, on the visual description of Twitter. That'll give you a good handle on things, and it should give you a good example. But we will be doing future ones on Twitter as Twitter evolves, and there's a whole bunch of talk around how this service is going to evolve. Certainly the recruitment strategies associated with this will change as well. So I'm just going to move into Q&A here, and I've got the first question that's come in here is, if you have a company Twitter account, how many people are allowed to tweet? Great question. So what we've done is we've actually got our Mindfield Group on. We've got multiple people that can log into that Twitter account and post tweets on behalf of Mindfield Group. So what Twitter doesn't have right now, and what they'll likely go, and this is a great question because this is how Twitter is going to start making money, is they're actually going to go and create an ability to have an admin function so you can add other people to go tweet on your behalf. But right now, you're limited to one username and one password that you need to provide access to for multiple people within your company if you want them all to tweet on behalf of that specific Twitter page. How big is, so the next question is, Wendy asked, how big